If you don't contribute to an HSA every year, then you could be losing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you are, then you could still be missing out on that same amount. Not because you're a dummy or anything like that, but because you might not know how to use a health savings account to its full potential. The Employee Benefit Research Institution found that only 6% of people who have an HSA are using it in a way that I'll show you in this video, so the odds are that you are a part of that 94% of people. Let's fix that. To be more specific, you could potentially be missing out on anywhere between $300,000 and $600,000 plus dollars. Now, if that doesn't get your attention, then I don't know what will. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about an HSA so you can increase your chances of growing it to anywhere between $300,000 and $600,000. Later in the video, I'll take you into my HSA account to show you how much I have and how I'm using it to invest for financial independence and early retirement. We're going to cover things like the what, why, and how, my top 3 HSA accounts that I recommend. I'll show you how to use the account to maximize its potential, and I'll share with you some of the tips and tricks that I found along the way to turn my health savings account into the ultimate wealth building machine. This is one of those that I promise you'll regret not knowing about in the future, so pay attention and watch until the end. Hey, I'm Jarrad, and on this channel we talk about all things personal finance, investing, and financial independence. Feel free to leave any questions down in the comments below and I will answer every single one of them for you. If you could do me a huge favor and Hulk smash that thumbs up button, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps support myself, my dog Molly, and of course this channel, so thank you so much in advance. At a basic level, an HSA is a savings account that allows you to contribute pre-tax money to it every single year. Starting in 2021, the lonely single people out there like me can contribute up to $3,600 per year, and a family can contribute up to $7,200 per year. Just a heads up, expect those amounts to increase over time, so if you're watching this at some point in the future, then they're probably higher, but everything else in this video is relevant. If you're 55 years or older, then you can contribute an additional $1,000 per year on top of that $3,600 and $7,200. The average person who doesn't know any better looks at a health savings account as a way to save for future health costs, hence the name health savings account. That person puts money into the account throughout the year and withdraws it whenever they have any medical expenses to pay for. But instead of looking at it as a health savings account, I want you to look at it as a health investment account. To be more specific, I want you to look at and treat an HSA like it's an additional retirement account. Think of it like a 401k, IRA, 403b, and so on, except for the fact that an HSA is a completely tax-free investment account. More about that in just a few minutes though, so hang on. Think of an HSA as a way to start preparing now for medical expenses you are going to have when you're 60, 70, and 80 plus years old, because we all have medical expenses or more medical expenses as time goes on. It's like insurance for yourself, except for the fact that you get to keep all of the money that you put into it. I personally look at an HSA as a way to earmark less of the retirement money that's in my 401k, IRA, and taxable investment accounts for medical expenses. Real quick, I need to get this out of the way. Nothing that I say in this video should be taken as investment advice. Please do your own research. I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos and enjoys drawing stick figures in his free time. When you put money into an HSA, there's 3 things that you can do with it. Number 1, you can let the money just sit in the account and slowly lose value due to inflation. Number 2, you can spend the money in the account on medical expenses that you have today or in the near future. So if you go to the doctor next week to get that cough checked out, if you pick up a prescription, if you need to get a filling at the dentist or any sort of medical costs like that, then you'd withdraw money from your HSA account to pay for those expenses today. Or number 3, you could invest the money within your HSA account and let it sit there. Now, if you really want to maximize an HSA, then investing the money and not withdrawing it for today's medical expenses is what you'd want to do. This might not make sense on the surface though, because if you have medical expenses to pay for today, then how are you supposed to pay for them if you don't use money from your HSA? Great question that we need to address. You'd pay for those expenses expenses out of your pocket today to allow your money to be invested within your HSA for as long as possible. This is how you really unlock one of the many benefits of an HSA. You'd want to avoid taking money out for as long as possible so that it can stay in the account to continue to grow. I cannot stress that more. Let's compare two people who both contribute to their HSA for 1 year so that you can truly understand the power of investing money in the account. We'll call these two people Asher and Kensley. The only difference between the two is that one of them spends all of his HSA contributions for the year on medical expenses in that same year without investing it. And the other decides to max out her HSA for the year, invest that money within the account, and pay for any medical expenses out of her own pocket so that that money can stay invested within her HSA. Because Asher contributed $3,600 and spent $3,600 from his health savings account, he is left with $0 in his HSA account by the end of the year. Because Kensley contributed $3,600 and spent $0 from her HSA, she's left with $3,600 plus a little extra from the growth of her investments by the end of that same year. But here's where it gets interesting for Kensley and not so much for Asher, because he decided to spend all of his HSA money right away. She doesn't plan on touching that $3,600 at all. She's going to let it stay invested within her HSA account and pay for her medical expenses out of pocket. Not only is Kensley the name of my niece and probably one of my absolute favorite humans in the world, but she's actually really smart for doing this. If she didn't touch that money and let it stay invested for 20 years, then that 1 year contribution of $3,600 at a 7% return would turn into almost $14,000. And it would grow to $27,400 in 30 years. So even if Kensley had the same $3,600 in medical expenses as Asher for that first year that she paid for out of pocket, she's still ahead overall by $23,800 in 30 years because the growth from her money that was invested within the HSA. Because $27,400 minus $3,600 equals, of course, $23,800. Hashtag math. Think about that for a minute. You'd only need to contribute to an HSA for 1 year and invest the money to have it grow to that amount. If you were a family that contributed the $7,200 for just 1 year, then after 20 years, it would grow to $27,800 and over $54,800 in 30 years. The key here is to try to keep your money invested within the account for as long as possible so it has time to grow. We'll cover how to invest the money here in just a few minutes, so hang tight. But hold on, because an HSA has another benefit that's overlooked a lot. It's probably the biggest selling point of a health savings account. An HSA has triple tax savings. It's not very often that the IRS legally allows you to skip out on paying taxes once, let alone 3 different times. The first way, the money that you contribute to an HSA is pre-tax money from your paycheck. The second way, the gains from your investment growth, dividend payouts, and interest accumulation is not taxed at all. And the third way, when you withdraw the money from medical expenses, you do not pay any taxes on that distribution. 1, 2, 3. An HSA is like a Roth IRA on steroids, so it's extremely important to take advantage of it if you're able to. One way that I'm supercharging my HSA even more is by charging all of my medical expenses over the years to a Good Rewards credit card and paying it off at the end of every single month. Since I'll be spending money on these medical expenses out of pocket anyways, I might as well charge it instead of paying cash so I can take advantage of my 2% cashback rewards. So not only am I earning 2% on the money that I'm already spending, I'm also getting a triple tax savings and growing my money by investing it. If you feel comfortable with doing this, then go for it. If not, then no big deal. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned it. Now, there's a couple of different ways to open an HSA. I'll talk about my top 3 accounts in just a minute. First, you need to be at least 18 years old and covered under a high deductible health plan, sometimes referred to as an HDHP for short. Here's an example of what mine looks like that I have through my employer. Notice how it says HDHP HTTP as part of the name. That would be the one that you'd want to choose to be eligible for an HSA. I'd say that the majority of employers offer an HDHP. If you can't find one, then talk to your HR department or manager. If you get health insurance on your own, then you should definitely have access to a high deductible health plan. Once you sign up for a high deductible health plan, you'll need to open an actual HSA account. Now there's two ways to do this so that you can start investing in that HSA. The first is through your employer. If your employer offers a high deductible health plan, then they may or may not offer you an HSA account as well. If they do, then they've already chosen the third-party company for you, so at that point they should provide you with a link to open up an account. Now my employer uses a company called Health Equity, which is the third-party company that I manage my HSA through. Money gets deposited directly into my Health Equity account every time I get paid, and at that point I can start managing that money. If your employer does not provide an HSA company for you, or you get health insurance on your own, then you need to open up an HSA account on your own. In this case, you'll have to deposit money into the account on your own unless you're able to set something up with your employer where they send your HSA contributions directly to the HSA provider that you've chosen every time you get paid. There's 3 HSA providers that I'm familiar with where you can open up an HSA account. The first is Health Equity. Now they do a great job, but my one problem with them are the fees that they charge. Now to be transparent, they only charge a monthly 0.03% administration fee, which isn't a lot, but I'd prefer not to pay anything at all if I can. If my employer didn't choose them for me automatically, then I would have chosen a different one, which I'll talk about in just a minute. The second is Fidelity. Now they offer an HSA with 0 fees. Now I like the zero fees part of Fidelity, but the one thing that I hate about Fidelity in general is their user interface for investing. I personally think that it's trash and extremely confusing. But if you already have a Fidelity account, it might make sense to open up your HSA account through them as well. The third is Lively. Now, they're by far my favorite. They charge zero fees, give you access to low-cost index funds, and their user interface is very, very good. They would be my personal #1 choice. Let me give you a little behind the scenes of what I'm actually doing to utilize Lively. Now, since my employer forces me to automatically have my HSA contributions deposited into my Health Equity account or a Health Equity account, I'm personally rolling over all of those contributions to a Lively HSA account every single time that I get paid so that I can avoid the fees that Health Equity charges me. So keep that in mind. No matter who the HSA provider is that your employer chooses for you, you have full control over being able to roll that account or that money in that account into a different HSA company if you are not happy with the one that your employer has chosen for you. I'll have a link to open an account with each of these 3 providers down in the description below. To be transparent, the Lively link is an affiliate link, so if you open up an account using it, then it does help support this channel and myself, of course, at no extra cost to you. Let me make this very clear. I can't tell you what to do with your money or how to invest it, but I personally only invest my HS money into low-cost index funds. Now, I created a whole video on everything you need to know about low-cost index fund investing that I'll link up right above my head and down in the description as well. I've been investing in my HSA for less than 2 years, and my account is currently worth almost $7,800 at this point in time. Now, that's an investment return of 26.9% over that time period. So far, so good. And that example for Kensley was only at a 7% return, so I'm ahead of the curve at this point. The nice thing about an HSA is that you have full control over it and can take it everywhere with you. Once you start putting money into one, it is not tied to your employer at all. If you leave your current employer, then you still have access to that account through that third-party HSA company that you use. Or if you leave your current employer and you don't like that third-party HSA company that they're using, so if I didn't like Health Equity, then I could roll all of that money that I had in Health Equity over to a company like Lively. Technically, you can withdraw your money for non-medical expenses, but it does come with a little bit of a price, actually a pretty big price. If you use your funds to pay for things other than qualified medical expenses, then those funds will be taxed as ordinary income, and the IRS will impose a 20% penalty as well. For example, if you spend $500 on non-qualified medical expenses out of your HSA, then you'll pay a penalty of $100. this $500 will also be shown as earned income for the year as well, which you'll pay taxes on. Not cool. Don't do this because it defeats the whole purpose of an HSA. I'll have a link down below in the description to give you access to a list of qualified medical expenses if you want to kind of check it out. Now, just a heads up, there are a lot of things covered, and I'd honestly only expect for this list to grow as time goes on. So if you look at that and you're like, oh, this isn't covered, don't worry, because the coverage usually grows from year to year and they keep adding more and more things to consider as qualified medical expenses. But after you reach the age of 65, or if you become disabled, you can withdraw HSA funds without penalty, but the amount that you withdraw will still be taxed as ordinary income. Just to touch on the insane amount of tax-free money that you can accumulate over time, if you maxed out your HSA at $3,600 per year as a single person over 30 years, then at a 7% return, your account would grow to $340,000 of tax-free money. If you max out your HSA at $7,200 per year as a family over 30 years, then at a 7% return, your account would grow to $680,000 of tax-free money. Don't forget to Hulk smash that thumbs up button before you go. Check out the description for more resources and playlists to help out with all of your personal finance, investing, and financial independence needs. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Done.